Alrighty, and we are now live on YouTube. Michael Hernandez here of MLH Media, and I'm very, very pleased to be sitting down with Chris Mecate, my man, 8-2 now after your victory over there at A1 Combat 21. Man, a victory shown in full. I mean, the leg, the whole entire aura after the victory. You really showed what a fighter really does out there. You got the win, and you did it in all capacities. I mean, showed off a little bit of striking, showed off a little bit of grappling. Was that kind of the game plan going in? Was to really kind of, I know you showed off a lot of grappling in this fight, very, very heavily wrestling, jiu-jitsu oriented fighters, both of you, but I mean, you definitely got to show off a little bit of ground and pound as well. Was that kind of the plan to really just diversify that fight portfolio?
Yeah. We worked. To be honest, I couldn't get a lot of research on the dude. Like I've watched a couple of his fights, but I could be wrong. But I don't think he has social media. It was hard to find stuff on YouTube of him. So me and my coaches, and we watched some of his fights and his CFFC fights and some other promotions. I don't remember the exact promotions, but all the fights we watched, he was striking heavy. Like I thought he was a kickboxer, Muay Thai guy, open southpaw striker. So we did a lot of southpaw tactics for striking. And then, to be honest, I'm actually kind of glad I didn't know he was a jiu-jitsu black belt. I didn't even know that till I heard the commentary from the fight. And I'm like, oh, damn, because when I took him down, and that first interaction when he threw up that triangle, I remember thinking, I'm like, oh, he's pretty good on the ground for a striker. I had no idea he was a grappler, for real. Just because I couldn't get any, dig deep on the dude. He has nothing on social media. So I thought he was a striker from his previous fights. I know he had guillotine finishes, but he dropped guys in fights, straight lefts. He has that big kick. So we were actually focusing a lot on his kicks, countering the kicks, returning strikes. And he ended up not really throwing. I don't even know if he even threw. I can't even really remember off top, but maybe a couple kicks. And in the third round, he threw a kick and I blocked it. And I heard his coaches scream like, "No more kicks! Don't throw kicks." Afterwards, I was like, "Damn, we kind of prepped for a kick-heavy game." He has a solid straight left. Like even the fight he lost to the guy Perez, he dropped him off rip with the straight left, and then ended up getting to the guy's guard. The guy reversed him and finished him. But I was definitely more concerned about his striking, so it was definitely play into the open stance tactics, catch him, and then let's wear him out. And then once I wear people out normally with grappling, then the striking is a lot easier because I kind of, take some of the life force away. But yeah, he ended up being a really good grappler too. I had no idea, but the plan was and he was obviously, you could just tell by how he looks, very strong. He's very strong, so I had to really get in there and dig deep to kind of wear him out a little bit because the dude was he was game. He was super game. So, but I thought initially it would be more of a him trying to keep it striking, but he was just as well equipped on the ground. But so am I. So that's just how it played out.
Yeah, you're a two-time All-American over there at Old Dominion, I believe, and then
Yep.
also transitioned and made the coaching move. Was that kind of something that you seen yourself as an athlete going and doing? Was that move from not only being a wrestler, but also going and doing the coaching aspect and then going into the MMA side of things? I feel oftentimes you have a lot of guys, they'll go into the wrestling, but then they go straight to that MMA pipeline. Was that kind of something for you? Like you seen the coaching and it kind of intertwined with the MMA and that's why everything worked out? Or how exactly was your journey with coaching, wrestling, and MMA all intertwined?
Yeah, it's a great way to put it. It actually was more just intertwined as part of a natural process because I graduated from college. I finished competing with wrestling. And, I went a lot of years, like about probably 15, 16 years wrestling straight, like really hard. So I took about a 6-month break from training just because my body needed it just to recover from D1 wrestling and, a lifetime of it. But I knew I wanted to fight, but I was like, let my body heal up. Let me try getting into jiu-jitsu, do some striking stuff. I'm like, because I want to fight. And so I got the fighting. I knew I was going to try fighting, but then I got the fighting bug where I'm like, oh, I want to do this and pursue this. Meanwhile, the coaches asked me like, "Hey, we want you on staff. You're a great asset to our program." I was like the athlete of the year at my college. And they're like, "You'd be a good recruiting tool," and I'm good with coaching guys. And I've always been pretty good, I guess. I've had a skill set as a teacher of like, if I'm learning something or I know something, like showing others, like, "Hey, this is how I do this," or I'm good at explaining some stuff technically. So I think the coaches wanted me for that reason too. So it was almost an intertwined thing where I would get my wrestling training in by going with the guys and coaching them, and then when I'd get done working at the school, I'd go off and train Muay Thai and do my jiu-jitsu stuff at night and in the morning. So it was almost a perfect blend. And then when I came back out to the West Coast, the training got a little bit more full-time. And now the coaching out here, I'm coaching at a junior college. So That's more of the coaching where it's a different grind than a Division I coaching job. That where it's pretty much 24/7 when you're coaching Division I. It's a full-time job. Where coaching in the junior college, it's more seasonal based and I have time off, time to really focus on myself. So it still blends perfectly with me right now.
Yeah, no, the D1 division grind, and then junior college. It's not, no disrespect to the junior college, but definitely it's two different beasts. Two different, and that's why a lot of those junior college guys are making their way up to this Division 1 level. Is that kind of something that you see as fruitful as well? Because I mean, you're in the MMA world. You know how it is to build your resume up and try and make it to that top show, to that UFC show. Do you feel like you kind of relate to a lot of these guys that you are coaching at the junior college level, and it's maybe a little bit easier for you to be able to recruit guys in that way, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying, and it is a great tool, the junior college coaching, because they're still college kids, and a lot of them are just wrestling at the junior college level because of maybe grades or they just haven't wrestled as long as the other guys in Division I, but their goal is to get there. So it's a great tool for me because it's like I definitely benefit from they're not like in their minds, it's not like they're at a Division I school and they're kind of satisfied already. Like I'm already where I need to be and like I'm here. They're like this is like, and I tell them I'm like this is a pit stop. Like you come here to get your tools better, whether wrestling wise and academically. So the room is it's a constant like, okay, we're here, but this isn't our end goal. So we're constantly grinding, constantly demanding better, and that energy it rubs off on me. I think when I feel it from the guys, and I preach it, and so when they give me that energy, I'm able to use that in my own training where I'm like, hey, like I'm doing good and things are going well, but it's not where I want to be. I'm not even close to where I want to be yet. So that kind of just infectious energy of like, yeah, we're here and we're doing the right things, but you know, it's the flower's still blooming. It's going to be a lot bigger and better if we stay on the path. So I think that energy of the JUCO specifically really helps me a lot with my training because it goes back and forth where I'm trying to get better and so are they. And, grateful but not satisfied.
Yeah, you definitely have. You've showed that route in your MMA career as well. I mean, you've picked up a lot of fights in your professional career, 8-2 so far. Do you think your experience do you think it helps you out, especially in a organization like A1 Combat, where I mean they just lost their featherweight champion, possibly Ernie Juarez, going over there to Dana White Contender Series. You got also the lightweight championship, Christian Avalos, that was just fought for, obviously on the same card as you. So it's like almost all the weight classes around you, they're kind of moving around a little bit. Is that beneficial for a Mr. Mecate who's kind of making his way into the A1 Combat scene and also just got a big win on Saturday night?
Yeah, for sure. It's always beneficial when, the mix is constantly getting, thrown around and, guys aren't satisfied with their positions on the freaking pole. They're trying to climb the pecking order. And like you said, you never get complacent. You never get relaxed with where you're at. You know that you might be doing well, winning fights, but for most of us, I can't speak for anyone but myself, but I could assume that that's not most people's end goal. Like it's a thing we're grateful for and we want to be a part of, but bigger and better things are in probably most of those guys, fields of vision. So, yeah, guys getting pulled up to Dana White or winning titles and getting called up to bigger organizations is a great thing, and it keeps guys hungry and keeps guys motivated and keeps guys sharp and bloodthirsty. So, I love it.
Do you think that possibly? I mean, I know you got the one win over here. You've been turning it up kind of all over the regional scene for MMA. Is there a possibility that A1 Combat gets to see the services of Mr. Mecate once again?
For sure, absolutely, I'm available for service. So yeah, I'm not specifically tied to any organization, but A1 treated me right. Talked to Uriah a little bit in the back, and we had a good crew there with us. We had some fans out there, so I think I did things right that I can do on my behalf. So we'll see if they call up or what the deal is, title shot. But yeah, I'm game if that's what they want and that's what they're looking at. I'm with the business for sure. Yeah, that'd be a good
Blood
thing.
Combat Sports own over there, Chris Mecate. How is it like to work with all those guys in the room? I mean, obviously a ton of talent over there at Cub Swanson and company. How has it been to get to kind of take over your knowledge from the wrestling scheme, and then you go into just another, it's like a university of knowledge over there at Bloodline. How has it been over that transition? And I mean, you obviously have been making your mark over there as well.
Yeah, we got a great crew of guys, and it's not to sound corny or cliche, but it's not we're not just sparring partners. We're not just guys who just see each other and go, "What's up?" and spar and then that's it. Like we are a tighter. I'd like to think we're a closer unit, and it's like a collective of energies where all of us have our own little strengths. Like, Danny Silva's one of my main guys, and he's very, very good on his feet. His boxing's incredible. He can wrestle just as well, but we kind of I like it's a symbiotic effect where when I'm going with him, my striking's getting better. I'm asking him questions. He's answering my questions, and then if I get him in positions on the ground or grappling, he's like, "Hey, how'd you get me there? What position do I need to get better on?" And we're all, there's still ego with anybody in any team, but it's a little bit less ego driven and people, it's kind of more authentic. Like, hey, we're all trying to get better and pull each other up. And so you want to get those rounds where you might not be winning every round, where you're losing a lot of rounds because you're like, okay, these are holes in my game and everyone here has a skill set. And if you might lack in an area, someone in this room is probably pretty strong in that area. So it just kind of allows you to go and whatever you need help on, you can go and find the guy in the room to do it. And then, like I said, we're all young, hungry, freaking up and comers. And then you got Cub, who's, at the top, the veteran, 20-year fight vet, 40 years old in the UFC at 145 in a lightweight weight class, and still kicking ass and got a fight coming up in International Fight Week. So, he's leading from the front. He's not
Are,
he's not an old guy who's fat and out the game, chirping at us. He's literally still doing it. So all you got to do is watch him and go, okay, you want to be 40 years old, still fighting professionally at the highest levels, like, observe and take notes.
Speaking about chirping at it, seen he was getting into. Well, he wasn't getting into. I mean, if you guys don't know, Cub Swanson, one of the OGs in MMA, but not only that, probably one of the most like non-argumentative people there is really out there. I mean, he doesn't really get
He
into
gets
a whole
along
lot
with
of.
most people. It's hard to be
Gets
real
along with
conflicted
most
with Cub.
people. It's
Yeah.
hard to get into beef with them, and it gets into a little bit of Twitter fiasco over there with Joaquin Buckley. Did you kind of see that?
I
Did you and teammates
I've
read up
heard
on that?
I've heard secondhand. It happened the day I was fighting. I think like a few hours before because one of our guys in our management team was like, "Dude, Joaquin Buckley and Cub are getting it on Twitter," and I was kind of like trying to focus because I had a fight in a few hours, but I kind of just asked a few
100%.
questions, and he's like, "Nah, pretty much." He's like, the guy called out GSP saying he'd beat him in his prime, and Cub kind of was like, "No, you wouldn't." And then he's like, they start arguing, and everyone on Twitter is like, "Dude, how low do you got to be arguing with Cub Swanson on Twitter as a pro fighter?" And then I'm like, okay, people sided the with the logical argument of that, like, yeah, Cub's right, take a little bit pushing. But I didn't, to be honest, I don't even have Twitter, so I didn't really see it, but I did hear, but things like that don't even get to Cub. It's freaking water under the bridge. So, but I did hear about that. I did hear
Yeah,
about
any of your teammates kind of have the same reaction, though, I'm guessing, right? Because you
that.
guys are all in the room day in, day out with them, and I'm guessing you guys kind of all feel about the same, right?
Of course, yeah. Like, and it's like I'm saying I'm misquoting because I didn't even read it. I had someone read it to me. But yeah, like someone making a statement about beating up GSP in his prime, knocking him out. Cup just saying,
Yeah.
like many better men have tried and couldn't do it. So what makes you, think you can do it? And then they started chirping. So yeah, but I think Cub was just staying kind of brutally honest facts. But it's the world
Hey,
we live in. It's okay.
Cub Swanson is one of those guys that if he does give you the brutally honest truth, I feel like it's okay to hear it from him. He's probably one of the only guys that is like, he's one of the OGs in this game, like how I said, like how you said, 20 fight veteran. I mean, he's been around, he's been in this scene. So if he's saying that you can't beat GSP, think you should maybe take some notes, maybe listen up to the man, but that's just me. I'm just the media guy after all.
Yeah.
What do I know? But no, I really did want to hear a little bit about that because I know that was happening, of course, during your fight week. And I know Cub, he doesn't really get into a whole lot of, he's not even really active on the social media scene. So to see that was a little bit surprising. But just to touch a little bit more on you as well, Chris. I know. Obviously, you're very talented in your own right, but I'm really wanting to talk to you a little bit about what you got next. Is there what fight organization? Is there anything that is next on the table for Chris Mecate? Any dates that you got coming up?
As of right now, we don't have any dates coming up. Like I said, I split my knee open in the fight. Just there was a gap in the cage, and so I got to stitch my knee up. So it's pretty banged up right now. So I'm not even really doing much. But once that heals up, get back to training, and then probably plan on something July, August. Get it cracking again. If it's with A1 for a title, let's get it cracking. If it's somewhere else, it's somewhere else. It's not a big deal to me. I really see myself as like kind of like a hired gun. Like I've traveled, I fought. I've never even fought in my hometown. All the fights I've had, one fight was an hour away from my house. That was the closest fight. All my fights have been Mexico, Florida, Oklahoma, Visalia. I've never even fought
Arizona.
Arizona. I mean, all
Everywhere.
over. Yeah, I fought all over. So I'm not attached to like, oh, I got to fight near my hometown. I'll go anywhere and get down. So wherever I get a good offer from a good organization and good fight, maybe some good exposure, I'm down to do it. And it's really about testing myself. Really, that's kind of how I reframed my competitive mind, especially in the fight game. With me, my coach is kind of talking about it psychologically. It's really more about putting myself in situations that really force me to bring the best out of myself and force me to be the best version of myself. So that's how I really try to focus it. So I try not to get too attached to, you know, titles and organizations and internet stuff. Like stuff is cool. I like it. No doubt about it. That stuff is cool. But, if they had to have me fight someone in my backyard right now, and it was a good fight and to make me challenge myself, I'd be like, okay, I got to do it. So that's how I'm reframing in my mind, in this part of my career. So that's what I'm really looking forward to is the actual challenge part of it. But if it's with A1, if it's with freaking PFL, if it's over there in Japan, wherever it's at, I will be ready for it. And I will be game to test my skills against someone.
A humble man, a true competitor, Chris Mecate. Thank you so much for your time today. I know, then just so you know, fans, if you guys like this man had the knee split, I talked to this guy right after. Not only was he willing to do the post-fight interview right after, before they told him, hey man, you got to go to the hospital, but he gave me his number, contacts me after, says, hey, let's get it done, man. So, Chris, I really appreciate you, man. You are a true competitor, warrior of all accounts. Cannot give you enough credit. And big congratulations on your win on Saturday over there in Visalia. The city always looks to welcome you back with open arms, my man.
Right on. I
All
appreciate the
righty, my
interview,
man.
Michael. And yeah, thanks for reaching out. Like I said, I wanted to get the interview done with you right after the fight, when emotions are high and the energy's there. But yeah, like the commissioners were like, you need to get to the hospital or else we would have done it there. But yeah, appreciate you reaching out. It's Memorial Day. It's nice and sunny out. I'm in my backyard chilling. So yeah, it's always good talking to you. And we appreciate you guys covering the sport and doing what you do. It means a lot.
It's a true honor to get to speak to you, my man, and a true honor to get to speak to you after a big win like that. So, Chris, the honor is all mine. Michael Hernandez here of MLH Media. We are going to be signing out over here. You heard it from him, Chris Mecate. Memorial Day weekend. We're over here still working. We're still playing in that time. We're signing out A1 Combat Weekend. Let's go, my man. All righty.
Later, y'all.
End
Peace.
that stream.